Do you miss nursing? Well, I'm still a nurse, and I get asked this a lot. Aesthetics is a field of nursing, but I know what you mean. And I would say, I have no qualms in saying I absolutely loved working on the wards. Probably one of my favourite points in my career. However, would I still love it if I was there now? I don't know. I was young and fresh and enthusiastic and motivated and worked on an incredible ward in an incredible hospital. Nursing is about, the part of nursing that I love, I suppose, is making connections with people, that kind of weird thing where as a patient someone you've never met before will kind of open up to you and tell you stuff that they might not have even told their closest family members or closest friends. It's like an incredible privilege, and I actually still have that. I still get that from what I do now, so it's different, but in terms of those very kind of fulfilling and unique and special relationships, I still get all of that through what I do. So, do I miss nursing? Other than that, I would say I probably don't. But it's not to say that I didn't love it and enjoy it. I've enjoyed kind of each part of my career. I think it's very, very tiring and exhausting, and even what I do now, I feel that. So I don't know. I've enjoyed every kind of part of my career, and like I say, I still have those aspects of nursing that I love the most. So yes, I kind of look back to my ward days with rose-coloured glasses and think, oh yeah, but would I want to do that now? Probably not. Okay. Another good one is, how do you maintain CPD or revalidation outside of the NHS? So this I've been asked a few times, and it's a good question, and it's fairly easy to do. So with regards to CPD, there's lots of training opportunities out there. So, I'm in aesthetics, obviously my training is related to that. And, the training will quite often have CPD points attached to it. It's all the usual stuff, within the aesthetics industry. There's all of the journals, there's the webinar, there's lots of ways to kind of get your CPD points and get your study in. There's lots of supportive groups within the aesthetics world as well. And so it's not kind of as difficult as it seems. In regards to things like your sort of mandatory training, again, they're all accessible outside of the world of the NHS. There's loads of private companies that will do, CPR or infection control, or all of those kind of bits of training that you don't really think twice about when you're working in the NHS, because it's all laid on and you just turn up on the day. So it's not actually as tricky as it seems. In terms of clinical supervision, that can be a bit more difficult, I suppose, in some ways, if you don't have any kind of network, any connections. So I think really the key is to, whatever you're going into, is to have that sort of network and connectivity around you, which is part of what Entrepreneurs is for, so that you can, you can create relationships with other nurses, and you can manage stuff like clinical supervision. But yeah, it's not actually that difficult to get all of it done, to do it well. It's really not that different. It's just that instead of you just being, hit with emails and you just have to tick it and turn up, you just got to be a bit more proactive and, make sure you've done it all and look for the resources and, sign yourself up and pay. that kind of thing. But again, they're all, you know, reasonably priced. They're not crazy, so not as difficult as you might think on that one. What have we got here? So how to cut cost in business. So again, this is a really tough question, I think, and one that I could probably talk about for ages. There's different elements to this, because when I started out in aesthetics and in my business, I was what do they call it? Chief cook and bottle washer or something. So what I mean is I did everything, okay? So reception, treatments, ordering, cleaning, I did everything, because I was so conscious of not spending money unnecessarily, and again, I just think that's a real nursey thing to do. Like, you know, that's what we do, isn't it? We do everything. We just crack on and we do everything, which I think probably doctors are probably not as inclined to do. Just again, because I don't think they're used to that. I think that's part of our experience, and it's part of who we are. We just, you know, if you're working on a ward and something's not right, you just have to deal with it, don't you? So I did literally everything. But actually, there does come a point when you're trying to kind of get a business going or trying to grow a business, where you do need to start recognising that actually delegating some stuff and paying for that delegation frees up your time to enable you to work on what it is that you're good at, what it is that you're actually doing, which is really important. Because if your time is just spent, you know, cleaning, or, you know, spending hours on a, you know, website trying to create a design that you don't really know how to do, and it actually doesn't look that good by the time you've finished anyway, then, you know, those are the kind of scenarios that you have to sort of think, maybe in this scenario is actually worth me paying some money for somebody else to do it who can do it much better than me, and freeing up my time. And certainly a couple of the nurses that I've been speaking to over the last few months about business, this has come up where they feel that they wish they'd employed people at an earlier point, or delegated jobs and contracts out at an earlier point, because once they did it, they realised that actually you do have to kind of invest a little bit in order to allow yourself to grow. So it's a really, really difficult question. I think on the flip side, the trap that you don't want to fall into is to throw money, you know, willy-nilly at stuff. So, you know, spend a fortune on a fancy website, and, you know, spend another fortune on getting really nice pretty business cards printed, and then spend another fortune on somebody who's going to do your SEO but can't really give you any idea of what the results of that will look like. So it's a real balancing act, and it's working out, you know, what you can do well, what's actually starting to look like a waste of your time, and what you actually can't do well, therefore you might need to get help. I mean, again, on that front, these days there's lots of opportunities to whereby you don't have to actually employ people in, you know, very onerous contracts, and you can use websites where you can literally just pitch out little jobs to people, like Upwork and Fiverr. So if you've got something, you know, you want to create a flyer or you know, that kind of thing, you can get someone to do it for not an extortionate amount of money. You've got services that will kind of pick up your phone for you and act like, you know, they're your reception, even though they're in an office somewhere. So actually these days there's lots of clever ways of making your business appear like it's not a one-man band when possibly it is. So there's lots of tips and tricks, but I think the how to cut cost in business, if if I could give you one blanket rule, do this or do that, I would, but I don't think it's as simple as that. And again, I would say that the benefit of a group where you can ask for other people's opinion and views and get advice and get recommendations, that kind of thing is invaluable, because inevitably somebody else will have been thinking what you've thought previously and have something to say about it. So that can be really helpful. But yeah, I'd say, there's some things that are worth spending a little bit of money on, and there's some things that you can end up just completely, throwing your money away. So it's a balancing act. Do you regret nursing? Hell no. No, not at all. I loved nursing. I suppose I probably wish I'd kind of found my confidence a little earlier in nursing, and found my voice a little bit earlier. But that's just the way it is, isn't it? And it's easy to kind of say things in retrospect. It kind of is what it is. But no, I can honestly say I don't regret it. I think it's brought so much value to my life, and I've had so many incredible experiences. And I actually don't think, I don't know for sure, but I don't think I would have a business myself if I hadn't become a nurse, because part of what's empowered me for creating a business is the realisation of the skills and the experience that I've racked up as a nurse. That's part of it. So I think if I'd had a different job, that I might not have needed to access any of those skills, and therefore, it might not have led to this kind of path, and I wouldn't have experienced this. So no regrets on that front. None at all. No, it's a no from me. Okay. This is definitely my last one. I put this at the end. I thought this is a fitting one for the end. So if you could retire tomorrow, what would you do? So look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you that if I could retire, if I had the financial means to retire tomorrow, that I would trot off back to my clinic and carry on with my patient list. No, I'm sorry, I'm not in that brigade. If I won the lottery and I could retire tomorrow, I would be somewhere hot with my feet up, with my dog or dogs, and I think I would probably maybe find a little animal sanctuary or something like that to do a little bit of work in, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. I'd do my exercise every day. I mean, I wouldn't work. That's what you want to know, isn't it? No, I don't love working so much that I'm one of those people that would go back to work the following day after winning the lottery. No.